My name is Wolf, and today we are back with Our Life Beginning and Always with Derek's epilogue. Good idea.
Awesome.
Cool. Got a satisfied thumbs up. Now we better actually answer the door. He stuck out a finger in forward in demonstration of where he was headed, and then strolled over. Derek swung the door open, as upbeat and unflapped as ever. You wouldn't have ever known that he was not the same man who invited two families over for a dinner party, with no plans of preparing a dinner.
Hey!
Hey, good to see you! Thank you. The whole Suarez family was there, crowded in the narrow space, with their smiles on their faces. Your own family did not have this same kind of cheer. Colors were curbed. They were here first. You took so long answering that I found them standing around waiting. Sorry about that. I see you've been very busy today. Nicholas and Harry smiled beside your big sister. Everyone had noticed the big glary star painted across Derek's face. While Liz unambiguously pointed out that you went to the boardwalk, a deep red over Derek's cheeks exposed it. That it was different tracks that came to his mind. Right, we were busy.
Anyway.
But Callie and I were going over a game plan. That's what happened.
So?
Oh, what's the plan? We're gonna get pizza. My treat. Woo! Thank you, my wonderful son. That's very thoughtful of you. Thanks to me. Derek's last-minute solution had gone full marks, speaking with that self-satisfaction of a man who winged the final exam and still passed. Derek pretended that this had gone on as he intended all along.
I figured.
I thought you might feel that way about it. Let's not order until everyone's here. Kelly says Mrs. and Mrs. Wolf and Mr. Holden are going to show up soon. Murmurs of understanding circulated as the group filed into the apartment. Derek took on the role of host with vigor and encouraged his guests to get comfortable. They accepted the hospitality and these were taken all around. How's the boardwalk? Mr. Suarez spoke entirely casually when he mentioned the unmentioned. No reason to wait for it, he said when it was literally written over his son's face. Yeah, how was it? Nicholas's repetition was far more exaggerated. There wasn't anything pouty about it, as there would have been only a few years ago. But he needed to make his presence known on the topic. He could not be allowed to forget that you went to a boardwalk, and he did not. We had a great time and talked about some very important things.
Wonderful.
That's wonderful. Good for you? Nicholas shrugged. He had matured enough to not demand inclusion in every activity that Derek or Harry did, even though he still wanted to. Soon another sharp ring of the doorbell came. You and your sister perked up at the sound of it. It had to be your parents. Liz disregarded the fact that this was not her apartment, and headed straight over to answer the door. He headed that way with her. Liz tugged the handle, and there on the other side were soft faces of your sweet mothers and, more sharply featured, but no less kind, Mr. Holden. Many hellos and good to see yous were said in succession as the Wolf family joined the Suarez clan in the Derek's living room. Star on both your and Derek's skins brought a few chuckles into the mix. It's a real party now. Not yet, there's still one more thing missing. Let's talk toppings. Derek took a page out of his mother's book and offered an explanation to the newcomers who had to wonder.
What do you think?
We're getting pizza if that's cool with you. Yum! That's fine, sweetie. No complaints there?
Nice.
Perfect. With this size of a crowd, I say we should get 3 large pizzas. A friendly round of suggestions and debates over the most ideal toppings, but demands. More than one person wanted a veggie meat supreme. The Suarez parents both loved that one, and they had grown up on their sons as they grew. Most agreed at least having some simple options made sense. Derek declared he would get his favorite, chicken barbecue, since he was the one making the order and that can be stopped. No one else in the group had any intention of bringing up Derek. It was incredible to see him put something purely for himself. That's the plan. One full meat and veggie supreme pizza, half cheese, half pepperoni, and half the pizza chicken barbecue was determined. He offered up a suggestion for the last half. What about Hawaiian? That made your mom snort. You knew what was coming. I thought we already had a Hawaiian here. Ma laughed and so did her wife for that one. She was aware a pun was coming, but after decades together, she still hoped Mom might pass on the opportunity for a change. Hawaiian pizza would be fine, Callie. The rest of the room accepted your idea as well. And you ordered something besides pizza. Wings, garlic bread. Oh my god, just fucking order the entire menu. Liz teased you openly in front of the parents, making good use of being Derek's treat. And Nicholas, of all people, felt self-assured enough about. And Nicholas, of all people, felt self-assured enough to joke about you being in this world as his youngest kid. That was hilarious coming from him, though the most impactful blow came from Derek himself, and he gladly owned up to the idea that he'd spoil you when he wanted him to. And to top it off, Nico and Clary were both emboldened by your special request. Each of the younger Suarez brothers asked the big brother for a soda, root beer, for Clary, and orange for George. Who the fuck's George? God, I've been doing this for hours and my reading just gone to mush. It's so funny. Each of the younger Suarez brothers asked their big brother for a soda, root beer for Clary, and orange for Nicholas. Derek gladly accepted their request. Off to the side, Mr. Suarez stroked his beard and mused to himself. I just don't need more than one drink. Because it's a party and Callie's enjoying themselves. That's true. No, the real reason is because we're gonna put it into Mr. Holland's mouth. He and Cove. Right, if Cove was here, we'd do that. We'd just pile the food into him. He's like a black void. I'm pretty sure that's also what his father is. And I say that because of Kyra. He started that whole trend. After it was all said and done, Derek made the call to a local pizza place. He arranged it for delivery. He glanced over the attendees once he finished the task.
Oh yeah.
We got some time to go. Can I get anybody a drink? That goes for you three already. Yeah, and something too. You don't have to wait to hydrate. What a kind host. The requests were made about water, and these were taken to sell in for the wait. You got comfortable on the couch yourselves. Derek collected 2 armfuls of water bottles. He went around the room, passing out drinks to each person, even those who didn't ask for one. It seemed refreshing. It seemed staying refreshed was not an option after all. It was an order. You and the others near the coffee table got served first. Then he went around the dinner table to catch the ones hanging out there. He was busy and in another section of the apartment. That's what you knew from the last time you called sight of Derek from your position. And that's why a jolt went through your entire body when a low voice tickled your ear. Callie. You creakily turned your ridged neck to glance behind you. Derek was there, resting his arms on top of the edge of the couch. He had swung back round when you weren't looking. He processed the situation. Derek grinned cheerily and unapologetic about the shock his move gave you. A soft thump could be heard in the air. It wasn't your heart, though it might have been. You guys stood on the other side of the couch. He was tapping his heels together. Can we tell people now? He didn't need to explain what that meant. You and Derek had one momentous event that no one else had been made aware of yet. The move. And yeah, this is probably the best time to let them know. You cleared your throat to get everyone's attention. Derek nodded, Jolene supported. He bowed out so the stage was yours. And you did succeed in getting everyone. Every eye on you. Me and Derek want to keep living together. He's going to move in with me. The crowd gasped, then went quiet, but not for lack of feelings. Emotions were palpable, but what emotions were hard to say. The first was to express something directly was Matt. That's lovely the two of you will still have... It's lovely the two of you will still have each other right there. Agreed. Kelly can use another person to lean on. Especially someone like Derek. He's trained for that kind of work. And I'm sure Cove is going to be thrilled. A whole group of you kiddos will be there. Moving is a big deal, but I don't doubt your commitment to that. Moving is a big deal, but I don't doubt your commitment. I appreciate that. Derek could accept the words from your parents boldly. A hint of guilt crept in when it came time to face his family. But he had nothing to fear. The Suarez had let the eldest go once before, and he returned for a time. The second separation was easier. The confidence was there, and they would see each other again soon. I'm happy to seeing you grow and be yourself. I'm happy seeing you grow and be happy yourself, even if that means going somewhere else.
Yes.
Yes. I believe Derek needs a change.
Take care.
Good luck, bro. I'll tell you to look out for each other, but I don't have to. You definitely will. Nico huffed, but agreed with the overall sentimentality in his own way. When I'm an adult, I'm gonna go wherever I want, whenever I want, and no one will be able to stop me. Derek's got to have that right too. When you grow up, you do that already. Nicholas's childish snicker was a true sign of his maturity. His big brother was moving, and he could embrace that. It's gonna be even more in the future. I'm probably gonna travel the world or whatever.
Awesome.
That's awesome, Nico. I know you will. And thanks, bros. You too, Mom and Dad. It was more amazing and relieving to understood. It was amazing and relieving to be understood and supported so much. You were almost certain of your choice than ever. The wholesomeness of the moment could not have been completed if it was only sweet. Liz cut in with a dose of snack that made the taste perfectly right.
Seriously?
Sheesh! After 10 years of no progress, you're going at light speed now? Well, we were just storing up all our momentum at the right time. Now we got the means to move at a full speed ahead. Laughter and light-hearted conversation continued within the walls of the apartment. Everyone was ready to pitch in with the move, and suggestions to offer, and then everything was put on hold when the third time the doorbell rang. Dinner's here! Nicholas made a beeline for the door, his two older brothers at his heels. They gathered all the spoils from the delivery driver, gave a polite thanks, and promptly closed the apartment up again. Clary and Nicholas peered at the semi-opaque liquids to figure out which drink was theirs, and Derek specifically handed you all the stuff you got for yourself. It was a good set the boys were all considering with the additional items. It came stacked with 3 pizzas, most of it was for you. Nicholas, Clary, and Derek helped set aside your goods safely. The feast was left down on the counter, savory, steamy, and very cheesy. Derek stood between guests, and the meal was made to decoration.
Alright.
Alright. In my house, instead of the youngest going first, the oldest do.
Good.
Ah yes, respect our elders. How kind. I can't believe...
That's...
Oh, he does not sound happy about this. I can't believe I'm considered an elder. How did I get so old? Mom and Mag offered comfort and condolences. They had been members of that club for many a year. All the grown-ups filed through as a big order. All the grown-ups filed through as a big group. At that point of their lives, determining who was truly the oldest wasn't worth the trouble. Well, I can do that for you. It goes Mom, Ma, Mrs. Suarez, Mr. Suarez, Mr. Holden. When they picked over the cream on the crop, Liz made a clean sweep all of her own. You and Derek went together next, followed by Clary. Finally, Nicholas's turn came. His mouth was hooked on the muse bend. Being last was a novelty. and he took his sweet time picking out the slices he wanted. Why not? He wasn't holding anyone up. Eventually, Nicholas selected his dinner, and the chairs around the apartment was filled with happy guests whose plates were equally full. It was a relief to see your and Derek's big announcement had an impact on anyone's appetite. Good food and pleasant conversations were enjoyed at Casa Derek. Nico went back to the boxes for seconds and thoughts without needing anyone's permission. After eating, Harry moved to the table to chat with Liz away from the parents. Nicholas abandoned the last bites of his fifth pizza to scurry after his big brother. Derek stuck next to you as a rule, but there were cases when an exception was needed. Well, this is your party, and Liz's sort of. I won't hook you. You should get to see everyone who's here to see you. I'll be around. Derek didn't belabor the point by calling it. By calling it what it truly was. Your farewell party. The point still stood. These were final hours in Prison Vista, and with both of these families. Could see each other again, but no one could exactly say when. The time you had right now wasn't to be missed. Yeah. Oh, thanks. Derek took a step back with a nod and wave. He at least was someone you'd finally see again soon. He joined up with Liz, Harry, and Nico. Harry, Nico, and Liz were gathered in the corner of the room, fully engrossed in conversation. Harry's hand battered in the air between the group as Nicholas jerked a finger about. Hey, what are you talking about over here? You were welcomed by the circle of friendly smiles. Harry folded his arms and switched from one expression to another. Nicholas was giving something to the effect of a recap to Liz. While talking about the trip, we realized you'd get to hear about a new interesting acquaintance. So she was being filled in. Apparently the Xavier person running the bakery used to paint faces at the boardwalk. Small world. There's no end of the connections you end up making with people here. Yeah. We're getting philosophical. I'm looking forward to who else we'll meet in the future. So am I. Hopefully one of those people will be Nova, right, Harry? Liz, well, probably you'll see each other at some point. Phil's sister was satisfied, snickering into her palm. Besides all that, I'm surprised Nicholas was one to... Besides all that, I have to say I'm surprised Nicholas was the one who reconnected with Xavier. Wouldn't he struggle to recognize them? You know, considering he slept the entire day. I fell asleep after I got my face painted, thanks. And I've been to that boardwalk more than once. I didn't conk out every time. How about a tease? The day was meant for Liz. That's why he readied himself for... and why he spoke with confidence. Boldness. Alright. Unfortunately for Nicholas, it was Harry who took up that challenge. Speaking plainly, with a mischievous twinkle in his eyes, he knew it wasn't going well for his old brother. The only reason Xavier was able to recognize you out of any of us is because you're still a little kid, just taller. How's that? Nico pouted. That round he had no comeback. However, he did have a new strategy. Nicholas looked at you, his only potential ally, and played it like the child he insisted he wasn't. The irony wasn't lost on Nico, and he intentionally played for that. Golly, these two me's would be ganging up on me. Leave Nicholas alone, he's a sweet boy.
Totally.
Right, I'm boss. Callie says so. But they said you're a sweet boy. And you were complaining about Harry calling you a kid. I'll let that one pass. You, Liz, Harry, and Nicholas laughed together and continued to chow on the mysteries of life. None of them said this was goodbye, but when the evening wore on, you need to move away from the sibling group. The CU's dad between you meant more than usual. You went to see Mr. and Mrs. Suarez. Derek's parents were contentedly sitting together on the couch, watching the scene of their children and friends gather around. Gathered together in one place was a rare joy. But when you approached, Mr. Suarez packed up from his peaceful reverie. He squished against the missus and patted a free spot on the cushion. Mrs. Suarez had to physically support her husband, in the invitation by catching his shoulder. Otherwise, he would have told right over onto her lap. I can imagine that now. She laughed over the dramatic infringement on her personal space. Thanks, don't mind if I do. After all the effort they took to make that available, you couldn't reject the hospitality. You popped onto the pre-warm cushion. Mrs. Suarez looked past the man draped over her, as if he was not currently attached at the hip, and made eye contact with you. I hope you've enjoyed your big city vacation, Callie. I definitely did. Glad to hear it. The pleasantries faded off, and the Suarez spouses got a meaningful glance at each other. The weight of the occasion hadn't been gone. Well, while you're here, there's something I've wanted to say. Did you know that Gregorio and I met similar ages as you and Derek, technically?
That's true.
That's true. Miss Suarez followed her husband's light unconsciously, while the gleam of the storyteller sparkled in her eyes. We attended the same high school. At 14 or so. Though we never landed on each other's radar until senior year. He and I shared a class here and there. We did not run the same social circles, or have similar extracurricular pursuits. I almost missed her. Can you believe that? I cannot. What I would have done with my life then. Sometimes I wonder. Perhaps you would be living in a mansion somewhere in the hills.
Well then.
Is that so? It's a worse fate than I feared. The long-time couple chitted and smiled rosily over one another. Meanwhile, you leaned in, ears parked, and the topic intrigued you. How had Derek's parents come together? He didn't interrupt the order to ask. He knew it was certainty that Miss Suarez would explain without prompting. And she did. You see, Callie, Mr. Suarez is a well-meaning man. But when he gets a lot of compliments, he believes them. There is no end to how big his head can get. Derek may have mentioned this to you, but Rio, as he was called in the glory days, was on the football team. The words football team were said with a mocking exaggeration, as though he could stop the explanation there. It was obvious where this was going. He and his football buddies had quite the egos and was such a cliche? I don't know. One completely random day in the cafeteria, him and his boys were acting like the gods on the earth they thought they were. They talked big and all crap. I spent my life tuning the whole set out. By that time, I must have been staying closer to the noise than normal, or in a usual petty mood. For whatever reason, I began to grab my own friends. Whatever the reason, I began to grab with my own friends intentionally loud to be enough to be overheard. I said with an exaggerated wide-eyed innocence how strange it was that dogs acted as if they were the greatest men alive. How did they come to such conclusion that when they have never spoken to a single person outside their team? What did they know who's better than everyone else? She followed her arms, bouncing her shoulders. Miss Suarez still felt self-satisfied over that one decades later. The team roast me. They mostly gave me the stink eye, except for one, who I could only describe as befuddled. I continued, pretending I had no idea what was happening at the next table over. We were having plenty of fun on that side of the crowd, until all my friends went dead quiet. That got me to check again. One of the football players had come over. He was built like a broad brick, though his face was anything hardened, too goofy, almost boyish, that. It was Rio, the linebacker, of course. He leaned over the table and said in his low, somehow booming voice, "What do you think of me? Am I not great to you?" He really said that? Irene and you were family peers, staring a fluster over the rashness of some strange football man. You snuck a glance at the star of the scene. He was playing as naive as Miss Suarez had all those years ago, listening quietly and twiddling his thumbs. Yes, I couldn't believe it. I wasn't expecting any of them to care about my opinion. The obvious thought would have been that he was trying to intimidate me, make me take it back, but he asked so much earnest that I didn't consider that possibility. I shot out an instant that, I don't like you, I don't know you. But I couldn't say that I wouldn't like a man simply because he was on the football team. That's pathetic. Ping-ponging from shock to indignance, the outpour of emotions reached its peak. Irene couldn't be bogged up no longer. She wasn't really a young lady recounting this for the first time. She knew the end of the tale, and despite being grown up, still put a schoolgirl smile on her face. Well, Mr. Suarez had such a frown when he heard that. Truthfully, Derek looks the exact same way when he feels rejected, so he likely understands the position I was in. Someone so bright and bold with a face that isn't right. It's as if all the joy in the entire world had vanished. That it was too much. I looked at him square in the face and said I wouldn't give him the time of day for that, but I might be willing to get to know him sometime, because he was decently handsome. Of course, that's due to Rio's delicate soul, and said, then we should do that. We are people who should know each other. When he grinned down at me, I knew this was more than what I bargained for. I bet the path. If he didn't forget about me, I was sure that I wouldn't have been me to give it up on him. But so far it's never come to that. And it never will. Rio had been so quiet in the whole story. He simply needed to buzz in at the end. I cannot remember seeing Irene before that day in the lunchroom. Yet as soon as I did see her, I knew I wanted her to think well of me. If she didn't, I must have been doing it wrong. I am thankful that you still approve. I am thankful you approve of me still. Even though I sneak Allison's extra treats and cheat with the video games, I can't be a bad man if Irene can look past that. Mr. Suarez hooked a hand around his wife's. You bet the grin he had on at that moment, he was the same one Irene had originally fallen for. That's right, you are a good man. No buts or qualifiers went along with the praise. She wholeheartedly expressed approval of her husband. You could see it go straight to Mr. Suarez's ego. Irene didn't take it away from him. The sweethearts were completely enamored and absorbed with one another. Yet, Mrs. Suarez managed to pull her focus off the stud of her heart to address you again. It had to be serious. Thank you for listening to my self-indulgent story. What I really wanted to tell you is that I'm relieved Derek found someone who appreciates him for who he is. Where those words fell over you. She knew what happened with Derek. She knew that you were with him regardless of what happened to his career trajectory. As his mother, it meant a great deal to her. Welcome to the family, Callie.
Of course.
I'm certain things will go well with the arrangement.